He turned to my father and said, "John, look at Dodie. She walks like a princess." Up to that point, my mother had never heard anything good about how she walked. In fact, she was kind of embarrassed by it because she walks with a limp. She has to walk much slower. But when she heard him say that, it changed her whole attitude. She quit being embarrassed by it. She put her shoulders back and started walking like she was royalty. That was over 40 years ago, and my mother remembers that like it was yesterday. I want to talk to you today about healing words. Our words have the power to lift people, to help them get through a challenge, to push them into their destinies. When you tell someone, "I love you, I'm proud of you, you did great on that project," you're not just being kind, those are healing words. We don't know what people are going through. They may smile on the outside, but on the inside, they're hurting, they're lonely, they're discouraged. Many people have wounds from the past, wounds from a relationship that didn't work out, wounds from people trying to push them down. And just a simple word of encouragement. "I believe in you. I'm praying for you." A simple compliment. "You look beautiful today." It's no big deal to you, but to them, it's helping heal the wounds. It's lifting their spirits. It's causing them to believe in themselves. Your words can be what keeps them moving forward. And God puts people in our lives on purpose so we can see Victoria. Many times I think she is so beautiful, but it's easy for me to think she knows she's beautiful. People have been telling her she's beautiful her whole life. I told her last week she's beautiful. She doesn't need to hear it again. I've learned, even though she knows it, tell her anyway. Do you know, she has never once said to me, "Joel, quit telling me I'm beautiful. I know I'm beautiful. My parents told me as a child." No matter how many times you complimented a person, when that thought comes up, tell them again. That's God bringing it up. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know the battles they're fighting, the people trying to push them down. God wouldn't have brought it up if He didn't want you to tell them. These days, it's easier than ever. If they're not there in person, you can send them a text. "Hey, I want you to know I love you and I think you're beautiful." A few years ago, Victoria was walking down the hallway after a service on her way upstairs. There were hundreds of people in the hallways, very crowded. But a young lady came passing by, going the other direction. Victoria happened to notice her. She stopped her and said, "You are so beautiful." Just a 5-second conversation, and they moved on. No big deal. It seemed like that Victoria was just being nice, just being kind. But God wouldn't have given you that compliment. He wouldn't have put that thought in you if the other person didn't need it. You may not know them. It may not make sense to you, but God knows what He's doing. There's a reason they need your healing. If you saw someone that was sick, they were fighting an illness, and you had the cure, you had the medicine that would cause them to get well, you would be quick to get it to them. You go over as fast as you could. "Here, take this right now. I don't want you to suffer anymore." That's the way you need to see your compliments, your kind words, your encouragement. It's the healing that people need. Don't withhold it. Don't try to reason it out. "Well, they look like they're doing fine, Joel. They don't need my encouragement." You're looking on the outside. You don't know what's happening on the inside. A couple of months later, this young lady showed up in the visitor's reception. She said to me, "Victoria will never know what she did for me that day." She told how she had gone through a bitter divorce. She felt so unattractive, so beaten down. Every voice told her she wasn't worth anything, that she would never love again. She said, "When Victoria looked me in the eyes and said, 'You are so beautiful,' it was like strongholds were broken in my mind." All of a sudden, that depression lifted off of her. She had a new perspective. She realized, "I'm still beautiful. I'm still a child of the Most High God. I'm still fearfully and wonderfully made." For the next couple of months, anytime she was tempted to be discouraged, she would replay that phrase over and over, "You are so beautiful." We don't understand the power of a simple compliment, the power of, "I believe in you. You're going to make it. Great things are in store." Early 20s, a young man started coming up to the gym to play basketball with us. He was a loner. He was very unfriendly, very cold. He never talked. Even during the games, he wouldn't interact with us. Most of the guys just ignored him, but something down in here told me to reach out to him and make him feel welcome. I found out that his name was Bo. When he would come into the gym, I would go over and say, "Hey, Bo, it's great to see you today." He never said anything. He just hit his chest twice and walked away. I didn't know what that meant, but I hit my chest twice and walked away. This went on for several years. I saw him 4 or 5 times a week. Well, I stopped playing basketball there, and I hadn't seen Bo in over 20 years. One Sunday, he showed up at church. I saw him afterwards. I thought, where do I know this guy from? He said, "I'm Bo. We used to play basketball together." That's the most I'd ever heard him talk. He went on to tell how he grew up in the projects. At 14, he started living on his own. Nobody wanted him. He never felt loved or accepted. He said, "One of the main reasons I went up to the gym was to hear you say, 'Great to see you today,' because nobody had told me that they were glad to see me." I didn't know it at the time, but Bo was thirsty. Those simple words, letting him know that I cared, were like life-giving water. Today, Bo is married. He introduced me to his children. He's setting a new standard for his family. I had a coach my freshman year of high school. I was very small, about 6 inches shorter than average. They called me Peanut. Hey, don't laugh. I was on the basketball team. And of course, in high school, there were a lot more kids than junior high. It was a lot more competitive. I was a little intimidated, thinking, how am I going to play basketball with all these bigger guys? One day, I was walking down the hallway at school with some of my friends on the basketball team. My coach called me over. He's a big, tough guy. He said, "Hey, Peanut, come over here." That didn't make me feel too confident. He called me Peanut too. All my friends were standing around watching. He leaned down to my level. He said, "Listen here, Peanut, you may be small, but you have a big heart, and you're going to do great this year. In fact, you're going to be my starting point guard." When he said that, I felt 10 feet tall. I went out and played like I was Michael Jordan. I'm white, I still can't jump, but I'm fast. But my coach, he didn't have to say that. He could have just thought it, or he could have told me in private. But when you compliment someone in front of people, it carries more weight. It's magnified. And yes, there are times you need to do it in private, but when you can, speak a blessing in. My mother had polio when she was a child. She had to wear braces on her legs. Now one leg is much smaller than the other. For years, she was very self-conscious about it. She tried to cover them up and wear clothes that would hide them. But in her early 30s, not long after she married my father, a guest minister was coming to speak at the church. This man's always positive and uplifting. And my mother was walking in front of him. He turned to my father and said, "John, look at Dodie. She walks like a princess." Up to that point, my mother had never heard anything good about how she walked. In fact, she was kind of embarrassed by it because she walks with a limp. She has to walk much slower. But when she heard him say that, it changed her whole attitude. She quit being embarrassed by it. She put her shoulders back and started walking like she was royalty. That was over 40 years ago, and my mother remembers that like it was yesterday. One compliment can have an impact for a lifetime.